We're all here ready to play. Awesome. All right, so if you guys haven't seen the project for the day, we're going to be making this fun little mixed media frame. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw. So I hope you guys know how to do circles and diamond or oblong ovals, because that's pretty much all you need. So really, really easy. So you're going to be able to just kind of create your background, and then we're going to build on top of it using the inks that we have here for you. So what we're going to do first is go ahead and get our background covered, and we'll start with that by using the vintage paper, as well as you'll be using vintage paper and the white paper, and you'll be building the layers behind there just by ripping different pieces and using your decoupage medium, which is your varnish here. Let's go ahead and start first with putting the trim on. That way you can just go ahead and cover your trim. And if you don't get it perfectly, if it's not evenly, don't worry. You can always sand the rest off a little later once it's dry and you get home. Or you could even just use the white paint that we're going to use. What's wonderful about this surface is that it's MDF. So the density of it being the medium density fiberboard, it really is a nice porous surface that gives you a nice surface to take paint. It takes it really, really nicely. So go ahead and start by putting your strips along the side. You could also use the scissors that are inside of the little tool case if you would like it to be a little bit more even. And then from there, you'll just take strips of white paint white paper as well as the vintage paper, and just kind of sporadically put it throughout. There you go, I'm holding it hostage. And for the fast finish, since we don't have a little cup or something to put it in, go ahead and just pour it straight onto your paintbrush and just wipe it on like so. Yeah, just go ahead and pour it right on there and then wipe it on there. And let's put it on the bottom first. Perfect. And what's your name? Judy? You can see here how Judy is now starting to begin layering. So this is really, it's totally up to your personal preference. We have white paper as well as vintage paper you can layer so that when we paint over it, it'll add depth. Don't put a whole lot of emphasis on this. Just keep it very easy, very casual. This is not anything to get stressed over. If you need any help, just let me know. I gladly get my fingers dirty for you. All right, ladies, we're going to take about 2 more minutes just to create your surface. So don't worry about it. Believe me, once you get your paint on there, that's what brings it all together. Because your paint, this is just the background, one of the layers. When you bring your paint on top, I can show you here, if I had just had my vintage paper, it would look like I had a mountain here, a little peak there, and a little splotch there. You don't need to worry too much about it. So don't worry to put too much detail into it. The paint is what's going to bring it all together. So if you are already done with your surface, you can go ahead and start adding your paint. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and put your paint on a little, just put it just right on the side. What we're going to do is just kind of bring it all together with a light coat of paint. You can do it, what you can do is add a little varnish to dilute it down. That's where this stuff will come in really good, because it isn't so sticky. It won't get all over the place for you. All right, let's go ahead and start with the paint. You will want to make sure, though, that your paint is diluted with either the varnish or the fast finish. Okay. So you want it to be kind of a milky white. So you still want it to be white because that's going to bring it all together so that we can paint on top. But you can see where if I were to just paint white paint on top of the print, it would cover it completely. Yeah. Diluting it with the varnish or the medium is going to make it to where you can actually see through it. And if you feel that you've put too much paint on, just wipe it off with a paper towel. That's the wonderful ebb and flow of this project, is that you can add or take away as you like. If you feel that your surface is a little bit too runny, go ahead and dry it off with a little bit of a paper towel, because we do want it to be, it can still be a little moist, but you want it to be somewhat dry so that we can start writing on it with the grease pen. So the grease pen here, AKA China marker, I just found out that's what it's called in my art class. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and take your charcoal pens, your pencils here, and this is where we're going to draw our background. And I know that it might look a little intimidating, the idea of when you look at something and you think, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be drawing? Like, that's just not gonna happen. I know April kind of froze a little bit when she thought, they're not gonna wanna draw. It's really, really simple. I draw like a kindergartner, and I like it. I like that whimsy feel. And it's, if you break it down into simple shapes, that's what will work for you. So if you wanna put your sun, a simple circle, that's totally cool. Do your clouds, little squirrely puffs, that's totally easy. Your flowers, all they are ovals that have been pointed on the end, so it's basic petals with a circle in the middle. The nice thing about the charcoal is that it blends, so if you make a mistake, you can just kind of smudge it into your white paint and start over again. So yeah, so let's go ahead and start simple with your sun and your clouds, and then you can go ahead and just build the background with your grass and your flowers.
What do you use to color?
One fun trick that I liked, that I think you guys can enjoy too, is in the grass, I did put a little bit of charcoal just sporadically. I didn't do it too dark, but what it does is that when we put the green ink in, it gives it a shadow depth. So it makes it nice because it gives it that layered again.
So you use the brush?
What we're gonna do, just to tell you the process, is we're drawing your outline. You're gonna paint on it, and then you're gonna outline again afterwards before you seal it, so then that way it gives it a really, it looks like, it has that depth of what, you can see the sketch and then the outline again. It gives it that depth, but it also makes it feel a little bit more artistic. And what we found that works the best with drawing is short little hash mark strokes. Just getting really, so don't drag your pen across it, but little hashes. That way you're just adding little bits at a time. You're not pulling against your paper, but you're gonna get something. And don't be afraid to experiment. Try a little bit harder, get a little bit more, just kind of see what your paper will let you get away with. What we're gonna do is that you have your non-porous surface here. I would recommend like a little wax paper, a craft mat, whatever you have. And I would go ahead and just pounce it right onto your glass. And then you're gonna mix it in with a little bit of your fast finish, and it's just going to basically liquefy it.
Are we using which ink?
I'm just not using any particular color right now. I just use the yellow for now. But you're basically gonna color it in. And what you'll do is just go ahead and just color it in there. So you can see here how you can go ahead and just add a little color. We're actually, for the sun, gonna add another layer of the smooch on top, so you don't need it to be so dark. But the more ink you can get out, the better, because that means it's gonna be a little bit darker. So for the sun and the clouds, I used Smooch Pearl, the accent. And that really just gives it, kind of pops it away from the white background. And you'll just find exactly what combination works for you. Just work with it. Can I borrow yours? And what's your name?
Carlene.
Carlene. So you can see how Carlene, look at the really vibrant blue she's getting in the background, but yet you can still see the white. You can still see the vintage paper. It's kind of just layered on top of layer on top of layer, which just kind of eventually makes sense.
Thank you.
Again, this technique works really, really well with reinkers. I encourage you to go home with your reinkers. Take, this is a decoupage medium, but you can use a gel medium. You can use even Mod Podge. The thing with Mod Podge, though, what happens is that the clarity isn't quite as consistent in the beginning. And after you're done painting, what I love to do, because when you're painting, the charcoal kind of smudges a little bit, just to redefine it at the end, go ahead and outline it again. And then the last step would just be to go ahead and seal it after you're completely done. So, does this all kind of make sense to you guys? So you went from decoupaging to painting to finger painting to inking to drawing and then to accenting with the smooch.